Welcome everyone to Child 210 Child Development for BYU Idaho. This is going to be a great semester. It's a little bit shorter than I'm used to. This is the first time we've offered it during summer term, but it will be a great 7 to 8 weeks ahead of us. Busy weeks, but it'll be great. So this course in general covers child development from pregnancy through adolescence. It's an overview, so BYU Idaho does offer courses in early childhood development, middle childhood, adolescent years, so that you get more in depth with each age range. But in general, this class is just an overview of theories as well as the development in each stage. This video lecture will hopefully accomplish three things. You'll learn a little bit more about me, your instructor, about my family, and also most of it will be spent focusing on the course. And I'll be showing you I Learned 3, how to navigate through some things, where the assignments are, some helpful hints along the way, and go through that process. So first about me. My name is Casey Wilcox. I live about an hour south of Houston, Texas. With my family. We moved here just over 3 years ago, and for my husband's job. I joined the church when I was 18 in Wisconsin, where I grew up. I was baptized 2 days before I graduated from high school. My friend in high school was a member and introduced the church to me. As far as education goes, I graduated from BYU in Provo with my undergraduate degree in recreation, and then I completed my master's degree at the University of Southern Mississippi in family and child development. With work, I spent many years working at a YMCA camp in Wisconsin, and I was a program director over the day camp that we had. Also during college and shortly after, I worked at a treatment center for children between the ages of 8 and 13. This treatment center mainly focused on behavioral issues. Often it was kids with reactive attachment disorder that came from what we would classify as a broken home. And so they lived there for up to a year and received therapy and counseling through that. And so I enjoyed working there. It was hard to leave when we moved to Texas. Here's some pictures of me doing a couple things I love. This first one was this one up here was a ropes course when I worked at camp. And what's odd about that is back then I could be up there all day long, and now I'm terrified of them. I don't know if it's something with being a mom now, being a parent, that's changed it, or just getting older. I don't know. This bottom one is my husband and I went to Spain last year. He had a work trip, and it's also where he served his mission. So he got to go show me his area, Barcelona, and it was great. It was a wonderful trip away from our kid. About my family, my husband and I, we've been married 5.5 years. We met on a blind date. We were students at BYU and got set up through a mutual friend. And we got married in the Manti Temple several months later. And so we have 2 children. Ashton is our oldest. This little girl here, she's turning 3 in September. And then this little boy down here is Tanner. He's 6 months old. He was born in January. They keep me busy, so I stay home with them. And as I said, my husband works as a chemical engineer here at a company in town. So they keep us busy. We're constantly doing something with our kids, which is great. But let's get to the real focus of this lecture. So this is about the course. This is all about child development. This video lecture is just an overview of what each unit will look like, what the assignments look like, my expectations for the course, and then I will also do a lecture for each unit and go more in depth with that material and helpful hints and the assignments and some of the questions that students typically have regarding that age range. So again, this is just an overview, and we'll get more into specifics with the following units. So as I mentioned, the course is organized into units. During the summer term, these units last 1 week. So Sunday to Saturday. And I say Sunday, there's nothing that will be required on Sundays. If you choose not to do homework and do studies on Sunday, I support that. I have a firm testimony in that. But just be aware that the material is open on Sunday. So you have 7 days to complete it. All due dates will be Saturdays at midnight, Mountain Standard Time. Keep in mind, iLearn automatically takes whatever time zone you're in and adjusts that due date. So your due date may say Sunday morning at 1:59 a.m. Based on if you live in the Eastern time zone. So keep that in mind, but just remember midnight Mountain Standard Time and then adjust depending on where you live. We'll go through the course schedule for due dates when we get into iLearn, but there is a schedule that has the due dates as well as I will send weekly reminders out, and the assignments give you the due date as well. The course assignments, each unit is the exact same in what's expected of you, which hopefully keeps it easy. So the reading quizzes, each unit you'll be required to read a certain number of chapters in the textbook. And then there's a quiz for each chapter. Typically there's 3 chapters for each unit. These quizzes are worth 10 points. You can take them up to 3 times and it will take the highest of the 3 attempts. So if you do the first time you get a 7 and then an 8 and then a 9, the gradebook automatically takes the 9 and puts it in for you. If you have questions about or a concern about a question on the quiz, let me know. Almost every semester there's 1 or 2 questions that are miskeyed. And so if you're worried about it or you think it's not the right answer, just send me an email and we can look it up and fix the score from there. The next part is the Dear Abby letters. These are similar to the newspaper Dear Abby's that you've heard of. So they're letters that are in a document, and I'll show you on iLearn. And you respond to the letters, to the concerns by parents with the information from the course that you've learned in that unit. The reflective journal are more specific questions that connect videos and outside resources to the text material and have you answer them. The collaborative quest is also a discussion board. Those 2 terms are synonymous in this course. They are weekly discussion boards related to that unit. Your initial post is due every week on Wednesday. Then the requirement for this discussion board to receive the full 10 points is you make your initial post by Wednesday, and then you are required to respond to 2 additional students, so 2 additional responses to your peers by the Saturday deadline. This takes the place, of course, of a in-class discussion that many professors would have on the material that we as an online class cannot do. So this discussion board is the only thing we really have to interact with our peers, and that's why it's so crucial to make that initial post early in the week so that we have time to respond and to get deeper into conversation and discussion. The last one is observations and development. This one has you watch videos of children in the age range that we're learning about and apply the terminology, the theories, the concepts that we're learning about from the text and actually see it in real life. Make it come alive essentially, and to have that application opportunity. My course policies, first and foremost, is late work. I do accept late work, but keep in mind that 10% is deducted each day up to 5 days late. So if something is due Saturday, if you give it to me on Monday, it's 20% deducted. Tuesday 30, Wednesday 40%, Thursday is 50%, and that is the last day I will accept late work. If you turn it in Friday, it's a 0 in the grade book. So please stay on top of your assignments, get the work in on time. Summer term is it's gonna go faster. It's a fast-paced course with that, and there's a lot to do every week. So you need to stay on top of it. If you get behind in one unit, it's just gonna have a domino effect on the next units. Related to that, I do have a forgiveness policy. I understand life is crazy. A baby's born, your sister gets married, you are going on a long trip for family reunion, something comes up, or you're sick, or it's been a stressful week at work. I offer a one-time extension. So on one unit, you can use an extension that will give you an extra 5 days. This extension cannot be used on the final exam, and it also is not applicable to the discussion board because the discussion board is so important to keep your peers communicating with you. So, but it does apply to all the other assignments, and you have up to 5 days with no penalty to your grade. Next, for grading, it is the policy of BYU Idaho that I complete all the grades within 7 days. So everything is due on Saturday. By the following Saturday, your grades will be up on iLearn for you to review. I do provide feedback. Typically, I do it on 2 of the assignments. I'm not able to give feedback on all the assignments for all 45 students. And so I choose 2 assignments to give feedback on, and the others I check for completion. And if you lose points, I'll typically explain why, but otherwise, if it's a full point assignment, if you have full points, I'll just give you the full points. If you have a question about it, as always, you can let me know. Proofreading. This is a college course. I expect college writing skills. If you have a problem with that, if you're concerned about your writing, come talk to me. Otherwise, you can reach out to the resources at BYU Idaho and the Writing Center. More than 3 errors in an assignment, and I will start deducting points. Now, I'm not super into grammar, so I'm not going to make sure the commas are in the right place, or the semicolons, or the hyphens. That I could care less about. I just you need to make sure I can read it and understand what you're writing. If I open your document and there's the red squiggly lines because you didn't spell check it, I'm going to start knocking off points. Don't be lazy in your assignments. I expect to be able to understand them. With that, real quick, so grading policies, and right there is a great opportunity of where I misspelled something. So even I make mistakes, and that's why I allow a few mistakes, but more than 3 or 4, a handful, and we're in trouble. So the Dear Abby letters, it's 50 points. I look to make sure that you fully answered the question, that you included the terms from the text, not just your opinion. If you use a quote from the textbook in any of your assignments, I expect to see a citation. Do not plagiarize. I will not accept it. The reflective journals, essentially every question is 1 point for the most part. I'll explain in each unit if it's any different. So if you don't answer one of the questions or it's wrong, it's minus a point. These are also worth 50 points. The observations and development are worth 25 points. And then the discussion board is worth 10. If you're late on your initial post, I subtract 2 points. If you fail to make your additional responses to your peers, that's half. So minus 5 points, 5 out of 10. If your posts are not substantial, meaning if you just write one sentence, hey, that's a great idea, I really enjoyed reading your post, and there's nothing more to encourage discussion, minus 3 points. So there's the guidelines for what I use to grade. All right, some helpful hints. Do not procrastinate. That's even more important during summer term. Typically, students struggle the first unit to realize how much work there is, so do not procrastinate. Get started right away. Start looking over the assignments now so you understand them. Read all the instructions. Make sure that you understand them. Shoot me an email if you don't. On the Dear Abby letters, there is a minimum word requirement set at 2,200 words. If you do not meet that, you will lose points. I'm saying this now, and I will hold you accountable all term for all the units. You need to meet that minimum word requirement set at 2,200 words. It's in the directions as well. How to complete assignments efficiently. Let me skip that and we'll go on next. So ask questions, text me, email me, call me. I'll be honest, I typically will respond to email faster or text than a phone call, just because if my kids are awake, I don't answer my phone very often because they'll be screaming in the background. So typically email is fastest. If it's a really urgent thing, then send me a text. So ask questions. I don't mind that. You need to be actively participating in the discussion boards. That's where you're going to get the most out of this course.